Okay. I think I got to refresh because it's still showing that it's gone 2 days, 1 day, and 22 hours and 20 minutes. And we know the stream only went 7 hours, and then I did the show after that, so I don't know why it's still showing that. But anyway, it is. So now I guess it's going to take me back to the other thing first before I can go back to the page. So give me a minute before I can see y'all. Because I don't know. Anyway. I'm going to test the sound while I'm waiting. Hopefully it's okay. Uh-oh. They took classic streaming off. Can't go to it now. Oh, let me try. Hmm. Well, I guess for tonight I'm just going to have to read it off my phone because it's not going to let me view it. Oh, okay. Still have access. So it says, what is that beeping? That's annoying. Gracious. I hope that goes away. I don't know what that is. Somebody have to tell me if it goes away. Is it still beeping? It's because it's still trying to make me use this other. um. Anyway. Anyway. Okay. Back to what I was doing. Can someone tell me if it's still making beeping noises? Can I get a sound check, please? This has been a test of your non-emergency broadcast system. Had there been an actual emergency in your broadcast area, you would have been out of luck. No, it is not going to let me go to Classic. That's so unfair. Okay. Anyway, I need someone to let me know if the beeping's still going on. But um, Okay, I know what I'll do. I will go here. So, okay, we have to talk about some of the laws that got passed here in Virginia. So they just downgraded the laws if you attack a police officer or a magistrate or a judge or whatever. They just downgraded the punishment for it, which is crazy. They should have at least left it the same or upped it, increased it along with increasing the punishment for bad police officers. They should be held on a higher accountability level than regular citizens because they, first of all, have been trained in how to handle situations. And, if we can't trust them, we see all the trouble that's going on with the lack of trust. And this country is headed for trouble because we're not going to have police officers. We're not going to have guards at the jails. We're not going to have any. It's going to be total lawlessness. But hey, correct me if I'm wrong. Scripture tells us, as in the days of Noah, and it speaks about lawlessness, and we're getting ready to go there again. Is this how I have to do it? Live chat. Okay. Maybe. I don't know. It is taking a minute to get it. Alright. So I still need a sound check because I can't sound check it. Sound check. And I can't tell if it's buffering like this either. Okay. Okay. And I can't. Alright. So somebody tell me something, please. And so earlier today, they advertised this hurricane, and they were saying unsurvivable storm surge, meaning you're not going to survive it. It's going to be like Katrina, when Katrina hit. There's going to be dead bodies floating because the storm surge is going to take you out. You're not going to survive the storm surge. So, unsurvivable storm surge. So, I sure hope everybody evacuated and didn't throw hurricane parties. And I hope the governments made sure that people were able to get out. So, can someone give me a sound check, please, and tell me if this is doing okay? Testing, testing. I still hear some kind of clicking. I don't know. Okay. So, no one's going to talk yet, so I'll just talk, I guess. I'll just ramble on. Since I can't get any input yet. So yeah, they're changing laws here, which is making things more crazy. You know, this is a democratic state right now, or democratically ran. But yeah, we're getting into the complete lawlessness. It's going to be with the laws they just passed. Unbelievable, especially in the times we're in. Unbelievable. But it is what it is. Okay, it'd be nice if I got some feedback on the sound quality. Let me see if it's any better. Okay, I think the beeping has stopped. That's a good thing. Okay. All right. Let's see if these two are keeping in sync. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Let me pull up the news then. So, right now there is 17,355 people listening to Kenosha City Police. I can only imagine what is going on there. Maybe we'll play some of that and see.
We also have vehicles going north and east and towards downtown as well. They're in the south and east from 52.
That dude sounds like he's Canadian. Anyway, I don't like this because I can't see if the thing's buffering or not. I'll work on that later. Okay, let's see what's going on with the hurricane.
They're all on 5G. They're all on shared right by the PSP now. We're going to clear and go back to 2 once we're
It's going to be in the hundreds here tomorrow.
I have a call from Med 6. 6, respond to Wood Creek. 3405 15th Street. 346515 Street.
So there have been lots of fireballs lighting up the skies around the world this week. And
at 1:07, I got the call, and I was due to get off work at 1:15.
Opening your Bibles to Matthew 24, we're looking at love this morning. Love is the most visible manifestation of God at work within the life of a believer. And there is nothing that the world, our flesh, and the devil want to subdue more than the love of God that is shed abroad in our hearts by the Spirit of God. This morning, we are to be those who are characterized, known by, and live out a life of love. Matthew 24 is Jesus' warning to his disciples that it would be increasingly harder and harder to maintain the level, the quality, the powerful force of love flowing from our hearts as believers before an ungodly world. In Matthew 24, we're watching Jesus. Remember, he is sitting down. He's giving his final sermon that is a discourse called the Olivet. He's on the side of the Mount of Olives. And it's all looking at what the world will be like when he returns. And we've covered that many times, but I want you to see just two verses this morning, verses 11 and 12. Jesus said that many false prophets will rise up and deceive many. Then Matthew 24:12, and because lawlessness will abound. So lawlessness is abounding. Look what happens. The end of verse 12. The love of many will grow cold. Jesus followed up with that, saying that when he comes, will he find the faith? What he's saying is that there is going to be such a diminishment of the fervent love in the end days. It will grow cold. Now, two indicators Jesus said that you're near the end. He says false doctrines are increasing and genuine love will be decreasing. So Jesus said that's the way you know. He warned as the end of days approaches, false doctrine would increase, and the real love that is prompted by God in our hearts would decrease. If you look at that 12th verse, the word grow cold, the love of many will grow cold, the end of verse 12, that's not an adjective. That is not describing a condition. That is a primary verb. That grow cold is a verb. It says it describes the active display of love that will be radically changed from the fervent heat of.
Okay. Hurricane Laura becomes extremely dangerous. Excuse me, let me find my asthma meds. Hurricane is on the verge of becoming Category 5 before it potentially makes landfall late Wednesday or early Thursday, after which it is expected to rapidly weaken. Laura is expected to be the most powerful hurricane to hit the U.S. this year. At least 20 million people are in the storm's path. Over 500,000 people have been ordered to evacuate. Is that it? Only 500,000? The Hurricane Center warned of potentially catastrophic and life-threatening storm surge, extreme winds, and flash flooding. Winds have increased to 150 miles per hour. It's located, I hope Charles isn't still in Lake Charles. Oh, he wasn't in Lake Charles. That's where my ex-husband's mother used to live, but she's passed away. And 75 miles southeast of Port Arthur, Texas. Wow. Look at this. Look at that eye, man. That eye is so well defined. And look how tight even this part of it is. Look how tight it is. All this around it. And of course, the rest is scattered. But this is really tight around that eye. Arkansas declares a state of emergency. Hurricane Laura's biggest threats. Let's see what that is. Hurricane Laura is now forecast to be the strongest storm forgive me, the strongest storm to ever make landfall along the western Louisiana and North Texas coast with winds of 145 miles per hour and storm surge of up to 20 feet. But what determines how much devastation a hurricane produces and what hazards cause the most damage varies from storm to storm. Yes, we've witnessed that. Compare a Category 1 hurricane with winds of 75 miles per hour and a storm like Laura, which is forecast to have winds near 150 at landfall. Although that 150 wind speed is double, the damage potential is not just double. It is an astonishing 256 times greater. And that just takes into account the wind. It does not consider the impacts of the water damage, which is usually even more of a worry. Yes. While the increase in winds is partly responsible for greater damage, the rising waters from the storm surge tend to be much more damaging and deadly in most hurricanes. Most often, water is not only more damaging but also deadly than wind in hurricanes. From 1963 to 2012, 75% of hurricane deaths were caused by storm surge and rain flooding. Most of that is due to storm surge. So they were already getting tropical. At 6 p.m., position update. Florida sustained tropical storm force winds. Wow. Processing what request? National Guard members prepared for hurricane response. Okay. I'm not going to stay up here long. Out participation, and I can't tell. The maybe I didn't send out the notice, or it's too late for people on a Wednesday or whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna cover what I'm covering, and then I'm gonna close it out. So I think that's what I'll do. Okay. Back to where I was. National Guard members prepared for hurricane response. 3,000 members. 4,000 soldiers, 3,000 members of the Louisiana National Guard, and 1,000 members of Texas Guard have been tasked with responding to Hurricane Laura. Louisiana National Guard said it has 222 high water vehicles and 65 boats positioned to provide search and rescue support, and has 10 National Guard engineer assessment teams and 7 engineer work teams ready to respond, and 528,000 meals ready to eat. Texas Guard said it has more than 20 aviation assets and more than 15 shelter teams, as well as 117 high-profile vehicles to support rescue efforts in high-risk areas. Catastrophic damage is expected in the area later Wednesday night. Nearby Sabine Lake is predicted to be hit with unsurvivable storm surge with large and destructive waves that could reach up to 15 feet and affect areas up to 30 miles inland. Wow. 30 miles inland. I want to see these pictures taken from outer space. Well, let's see if it shows us. That was at 50 this afternoon.
How bad will the storm be for the Texas-Louisiana area, and when is it expected to make landfall?
Is that live now? Upgraded to Cat 4. Yeah, we know that.
It's going to make landfall late tonight and
Oh, that's going to be Twitter. I don't want Twitter. I thought it was going to take me directly to National Weather Service satellite. That's taking a long time to load. Look at that thing. That's from outer space. Wow, look at it sucking in that energy. It looks almost like a black hole, you know. And you know how they pull everything into them and just destroy it in outer space. You can see the lightning going off in this thing too. Look at it. Right there, a lot of lightning over here. Now we're going to have to watch. We're going to have to watch. $400 buses. Don't they need more than that? The state has deployed approximately, this is in Texas, approximately 400 buses, 38 aircrafts, 82 boats, 202 high-profile vehicles, 60 ambulance vehicles, and over 75 paratransit vehicles, Abbott said, according to KHOU. Over 5,000 people have already gone to shelters. The conditions of the storm are unavailable, and I urge Southeast Texans to take advantage of these final few hours to evacuate. Yeah, I hope they have. I really hope they have. "30 feet, especially in Lake Charles." Wow. Well, yeah, we know tornadoes are going to be possible. Matter of fact, let's check. Let's check the tornado maps, the severe weather maps, and see what kind of readings they're getting for those areas right now, because they already have the tropical storm force winds and probably even stronger than that by now. So let's see what's up. Oh, look at that. That looks ugly. That's the hurricane. Let's zoom in. There's the eye right there, still on the water. But I think this is the side that gets the most tornadoes and stuff, I think. That side of the hurricane. Let's see if there's any warnings. Tornado warning for Louisiana. So we got at 10:44 p.m. a band of severe thunderstorms capable of producing tornadoes was located over Klondike, moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. And at 10:38, a band of severe thunderstorms capable of producing tornado was located 8 miles south of Creole, or 9 miles southwest of Grand Chenier, moving northwest at 65 miles per hour. That one's moving fast. So here we go. You have 65-mile-an-hour winds, and then you're going to have, or you have it moving 65 miles per hour, and then you're going to have 60, 70 mile per hour winds already. So those, combine that with it moving 65 miles per hour, you then have 130-mile-an-hour winds when you have a gust, because it's moving 65 miles per hour. And now we have another one located 13 miles south of Cypremort Point, moving northwest at 55 miles per hour. And then Idaho has, oh, here, I've never seen this one before. This blue extreme wind 2 minutes ago. At 10:53 p.m., National Weather Service Doppler radar indicated extreme winds associated with the eye wall of Hurricane Laura were moving onshore along a line extending from 15 miles south of Sabine Pass to 6 miles southwest of Creole to 7 miles south of Freshwater City, moving north at 25 miles per hour. This is an extremely dangerous and life-threatening situation. And that is for Arcata, Allen, Bogart, Calcasia, Cameron, Jefferson, Davis, Vermilion, Hardin, Jasper, Jefferson, Newton, and Orange counties in Louisiana and Texas. Please, people. I mean, I don't know that going to basements would be any good, because there's going to be flooding. And if you haven't left the area, you better be praying, because it's already upon y'all. And I'm sure in some areas it's already too dangerous to try to evacuate if you haven't already. I was going to say go to the highest part of your house. But if a tornado hits, you want to be in the lowest part of your house, in the center room, like a bathroom or a hallway with some mattresses. Or you can get inside the tub. That's always better than cover up with a mattress. But if you're in the areas that can have the severe storm surge, then you need to be in the highest part of your house. And I hope you have on a life raft to find something that floats and hold on to it. And have something up in your attic. so that if you have to break a hole and get up on your roof and sit on your roof till help arrives, that you can do that. You need to do all that right now if you can. This is not good. Let's go back and look at it. So yeah, that blue, it's the first time I've ever seen this warning. Extreme wind. So there it is. It's moved since, and they added that blue. These are the red ones are the tornado boxes. The chances of tornadoes, which looks like that part's over Louisiana, and I don't know if it's part of Texas right now. But there's the eye, very large and well defined. So all right, let's add another one. That was 37 minutes ago. That was 11 hours ago. That was 17 minutes ago. We don't want to see New York Times. I don't really like this channel that much, but we'll look see what they got going on. I thought they were going to be doing live coverage. They've already got 13,000 power outages. I'm sure they got more now. Oh, look at that. Nearly a category 5. Wow, it's only moving 7 miles per hour, the storm itself. It's moving really slow. It's going to dump. So besides the storm surge, it's going to dump a lot of rain moving that slow, which is going to cause more flooding. And the winds, they've already got severe wind warnings. Is now in the top 10 greatest hurricanes ever to make landfall in the continental U.S. No, that's not live. Oh, here's the idiots. 150 residents have refused to leave Cameron Parish, Louisiana during mandatory evacuations. So now people are going to risk their lives trying to go in there and rescue them if they survive. They can't protect their homes. This is the stupid thing. You cannot protect your homes against 30-foot storm surge or tornado or even 150-mile-an-hour winds from a hurricane. There is nothing you can do once it starts to protect your home. I don't care how many boards and nails you have. There is nothing you can protect yourself from. So you leave and pray that your home is okay. You board it up best you can and you leave. Because, oh my goodness. So, yeah, these people have refused to leave. Most got out. We have a lot of construction workers on liquefied natural gas, LNG projects. Fuller added, most of these workers aren't parish residents and live in travel trailers. Some evacuated, but others stayed in the trailers. Now that is stupid. That is so stupid. Oh my goodness. Really? You're going to stay in a travel trailer during a Cat 4 hurricane? Are you nuts? Yes, you are. Completely nuts. Completely. Oh my goodness. That is the stupidest thing ever. Travel trailers are scary when the winds are only 40 miles per hour. I can't believe that. They're in travel trailers and refuse to leave. And they're working on natural gas lines. I don't think they got enough sense to be working on natural gas lines if they're that stupid to stay in a travel trailer.
Away from Category 5, but that does not matter. It's already stronger than Hurricane Katrina.
Sounded like it was trying to load. I don't know if it's going to be loud enough to hear. We'll try. And then I'll close up soon. Since maybe I should have said live Hurricane Laura coverage. Since a lot of YouTube channels are claiming that right now. A lot of channels that are live are claiming that. Maybe that's what I should have done. Alright, that still isn't loading enough. So they cut the billboards, I guess in hopes that it doesn't blow them down. To let the wind go through. Alright. That's enough on that. Let's go back to the warnings and see if there's any new warnings. Yep, one just popped up there. So let's see what it says. Yep, new tornado. Whoops, went too fast. New tornado warning. And this is for Acadia and Vermilion, Louisiana. Tornado was located near Meox, or near Kaplan, moving northwest at 55 miles per hour. Oh. Okay. No, I told this to.
Greetings from TornadoHQ.com. There are 5 new warnings affecting Idaho and Louisiana and Texas.
Alright. CNN is not covering it live. Look at that. Alright. Hundreds of thousands told to evacuate. Here's the latest radar at 11 p.m. Right now, Lake Charles is the windiest. What time is it? Oh, it's midnight. Okay, it's after midnight. So that was an hour ago. So all the red is tornado watches. And yellow is severe storm watch. Well, nobody's... Okay. So that's the path they expect it to take. So it's going to cover all of Virginia and a little bit of North Carolina on this path. So by Saturday, we're going to have a lot of rain. And then that means this is going to... And unfortunately, it's going to hit my daughter in Maryland. But we're not getting anything like they are getting. This is very dangerous storm. A high risk of excessive rainfall has been issued by NOAA into early Thursday for parts of southeastern Texas and southwestern Louisiana, including Beaumont, Port Arthur, and Lake Charles. Rainfall rates of 5 inches to 7 inches per hour are possible, meaning dangerous flash flooding is expected. However, storm surge will occur in the same area. Wow. So 5 to 7 inches per hour, and this thing it's moving slow at 7 miles per hour. So 4 hours, you got 28 inches of rainfall, plus the storm surge. This is going to be catastrophic flooding, and anybody that stayed at those travel trailers, you're nuts. If your travel trailer doesn't fall apart, it's going to be floating, but it's going to fall apart. The water is going to break it into a bunch of dangerous pieces, which can knock you in the head. And then you have no protection around you after your travel trailer falls apart, and then you're going to be out there in the water with all the
Would
other
you believe a
floating
few simple
debris.
changes in your diet can drastically reduce your joint pain and arthritis? If you're suffering from joint pain right now, you'll surely want to see this. You know, I made 3 simple changes to my diet that drastically reduced my arthritis pain.
So these are all the areas for severe weather.
Number 1, I started drinking
Little
more
Rock,
water.
Shreveport, Lake Charles, just missing this part of New Orleans, but I guess the outskirts are going to get it. I mean, they're still getting the orange.
We have an absolutely devastating hurricane on tap for parts.
Whoops. Come back. Sorry, I keep going too fast. So there you go. There's this track. It started here, went across San Juan, and gone right in the center of Houston and New Orleans up. And then it's going to turn and come across Virginia.
Louisiana and the upper Texas coast. This is going to be a historic hurricane, and we'll probably feel the effects of it for months, if not years.
This site
In the future. So it's storm surge. That's
okay. Let's see what we got here. Oh wow! Look at that. Let's see if that video will play.
going to be the number one most devastating part of the storm.
Look at that hole in the road.
Could push 40 miles per hour. We've also got to watch out for some extremely damaging wind and some very heavy rain as well.
Miren cómo está todo esto aquí. Miren cómo está la gente.
Y'all better get off that piece of road. It's going to collapse too. There's nothing underneath it holding it now. Gracious.
Well, this is the forecast cone, and after it makes landfall, the wind strength starts to go down.
This is in Key West, and they're not even getting hit by it, but they had waves, apparently.
Quite a bit, okay, but we've still got the tornado, we've still got heavy rain going on, and the storm surge isn't going to... back off for a while. This is absolutely unsurvivable storm surge, especially if you live on the western part of the Louisiana Gulf Coast. That's where the worst of this storm is going to be, from Port Arthur to Lake Charles.
Forecast time, and so
There's a very good chance that we wake up tomorrow morning
at 2 a.m. This is where they
and basically a good chunk of Lake Charles
will be over land.
Will be underwater, okay? So this is serious business. And when you look at the forecast model, this storm actually makes it pretty far inland. And I think where we're going to have the biggest issues with the possibility for some inland flooding is going to be in parts of Arkansas, because the ground is already soaked there. The Ozarks, you've got a lot of terrain there. and it tends to be a spot that floods kind of easily. And the crazy thing is this storm is actually going to make it pretty far inland. It'll make it all the way into the Ohio Valley by the time we get into early on next week. Okay, so here's how much rain we're forecasting there. Some spots I could see 7 to 10 inches, and I think locally we could see more than that. So this is going to be an absolutely devastating storm from top to bottom. Please take it seriously. Overnight landfalls are extremely dangerous.
Completely nuts. Makes no sense at all. None. I can't feel sorry for them if they end up not surviving, because they clearly made that choice. That is suicide. That's suicide. Maybe they've never stayed in a travel trailer before, you know, because they're construction workers and they're not from there. But okay, thank you for letting me know that. Would you believe a few simple
changes in your diet can drastically reduce your joint pain and arthritis? If you're suffering from joint pain right now, you'll surely want to see this. You know, I made 3 simple changes in my diet that drastically reduced my arthritis pain. Number 1, I started drinking more water. I had no idea how dehydrated my body was.
Let's see what they got to say.
Number 2.
I'm sure they got live national coverage. And we still got the riots going on in Kenosha, Wisconsin, because of the 3 police officers that shot that unarmed man in the back the other day. All right, let's see what this video says. So it's going to be over land at 2 a.m., which is like not a good time. Of course, it's not a good time to have tornadoes at night because you can't see them. And they're not going to be able to rescue people from that because of the hurricane. So people are truly on their own.
They're picking up, okay? We just had
once it gets that bad. Why are all these buffering so bad?
So by guessing, I would say over 35, maybe closer to 40, but only gusts. It's dry, and so it's been fairly quiet. This is probably the
You just looked at a box in your basement, had to get something. Is a cable box.
Quickly. I mean, look at the
has Cat 6 on it.
The wind still a little.
Right. Maybe a message. Yeah, well, they're saying that it's almost a Cat 5. You know, but I don't see it strengthening anymore.
Sunshine, but overall, the winds are going to steadily.
It could strengthen up to a Cat 5 right before landfall, but it doesn't have enough open water left to go up to a Cat 6. I mean, at least from what we know from history, anyway. But you know, we're living in those days where we're seeing things that have never been seen before, nor will be seen again, as Scripture says. So anything's possible. It could go up to a Cat 6, but probability not so high because it only has so much more water. I only have so much water to go over now, and some of the outer bands are already across the land, so hopefully that slows it down some. But yeah, it's unbelievable that these people have decided to stay in these travel trailers. That is just, it's unbelievable. It's totally ludicrous. It's, they have, oh my gosh, they have no sense at all. I can't believe it. I would have walked if I had to get out of there.
Seriously, this is a storm you do not want to mess with. This is.
You hope it doesn't. Yeah, it's not going to go away. It'd be nice, but the only thing to make it go away is God intervening.
And it's still not off the table yet. that this couldn't strengthen to a Category 5.
Yeah, see, he just said it could still strengthen to a Cat 5, and I agree, because it's still over warm water, but it doesn't have enough warm water left to build to a Cat 6, I don't think. But then again, it went from a Cat 1 to a Cat 4 very quickly. You know, and they were saying at first they were anticipating a Cat 1.
Arthritis. If you're suffering from joint pain right now, you'll surely want to see this. You know, I made 3 simple changes to my diet that drastically reduced my arthritis pain. Number 1, I started drinking more water.
Skip ad.
Well, we have an absolutely devastating hurricane on tap for parts of Louisiana and the upper Texas coast. This is going to be a historic hurricane, and we'll probably feel the effects of it for months, if not years, in the future. So it's storm surge. That's going to be the #1 most devastating part of this storm. Could push 40 miles inland. We've also got to watch out for some extremely damaging wind and some very heavy rain as well. This is the forecast cone, and after it makes landfall, the wind strength starts to go down quite a bit, okay, but we've still got the tornado threat, we've still got heavy rain going on, and the storm surge isn't going to back off for a while. This is absolutely unsurvivable storm surge, especially if you live on the western part of the Louisiana Gulf Coast. That's where the worst of the storm is going to be, from Port Arthur to Lake Charles. There's a very good chance that we wake up tomorrow morning and basically a good chunk of Lake Charles will be underwater, okay? So this is serious business.
Katrina.
And when you look at the forecast model, this storm actually makes it pretty far inland, and I think where we're going to have the biggest issues with the possibility for some inland flooding is going to be in parts of Arkansas, because the ground is already soaked there. The Ozarks, you've got a lot of terrain there, and it tends to be a spot that floods kind of easily. And the crazy thing is this storm is actually going to make it pretty far inland. It'll make it all the way into the Ohio Valley by the time we get into early on next week. Okay, so here's how much rain we're forecasting there. Some spots I could see 7 to 10 inches, and I think locally we could see more than that. So this is going to be an absolutely devastating storm from top to bottom. Please take it seriously. Overnight landfalls are extremely
5 to 7
dangerous.
inches per hour. Per hour. So, and it's only moving 7 miles per hour, so it is moving slow.
Hurricane Laura's pressure has dropped even further. Now, Louisiana and Texas remain the 2 states expected to see the worst from Laura. Not the only states, but certainly extremes. And for watches and warnings in the reds and purples, these are your higher danger zones. But the danger, of course, goes well beyond here. Now, this is going to make seeing how bad the storm surge is extremely difficult. Water's already deceiving. We know that. Hurricane Laura's storm surge could penetrate 40 miles inland, and these tropical storm force winds, of course, again, these are spread far inland. And so I'm going to tell you the same thing with the winds as we just talked about with the water. In the darkness, it might not appear that bad outside.
I don't think,
but if you walk out,
I recall them ever, and I'm sure they have, but it's the first time I've ever paid attention to it when they said unsurvivable storm surge. I've heard storm surges lots of times, you know, expected 20 feet, 15 feet, whatever. I just haven't heard them coin the phrase unsurvivable storm surge. And, you know, but they need to let people know that. If you stay, you're not going to survive it.
Would you believe a few simple changes in your diet can drastically
I mean, even if you're on a boat, because it's going to rock the boat, tip the boat over, and you know what I mean? And then you're going to have debris hitting your boat, and putting a hole in it and sinking it. So it's not survivable. Leave the area.
Number 1, I started drinking more water.
I can't believe those idiots stayed in trailers. It's unbelievable to me.
Number 2, I made a decision.
Man,
Well, the storm surge from Hurricane Laura is going to be absolutely devastating, and it's going to have some very long-term effects. And yes, in some cases, it will be unsurvivable. I know that sounds like a really big word, but it's definitely an appropriate word in this case. 15 to 20 feet of storm surge is what we're forecasting for that area I was just talking about, the western part of the Louisiana coastline. If you're not familiar with storm surge, it's basically when the wind pushes the ocean up onto the land. So the water just keeps on rising, and if you live along the coast, you become part of the ocean. Now, that's already started. It's really not even close to as bad as it's going to get yet, but you can see a little bit of this stuff starting in places like Holly Beach, Louisiana. This is just a tiny little preview. I mean, that place is going to be underwater so quickly it's not even funny within the next couple of hours. And the other thing is that it's not only directly along the coast where we see the surge moving into, okay? Because you've got a lot of
trailers on
open
wheels.
mouths of rivers that are down along that coastline. So the water will end up kind of pushing up into those rivers, and then it can push like 30 to 40 miles inland. So that's why we're really worried about Lake Charles, especially, I'd say, good chance that half the town or more is going to be underwater when this thing is over. So this is really serious business, guys. Storm surge is by far the most deadly part of any hurricane. It's also why we have evacuations, and this kind of wind, this kind of storm, and as big as this storm is and as persistent as the surge is going to be, look how long on this forecast map the wind is blowing from the ocean up onto the land. Even though it's not as strong by the time we get to late Thursday, it's going to be several tide cycles and several days before the water goes down.
There's going to be a lot of people that pass away tonight. This is crazy because they stayed. Because they stayed.
Would you believe a few simple changes in your diet can drastically reduce
I
your
could
joint
see
pain
staying
and
in
arthritis?
a Cat
If
1,
you're suffering from joint pain
but
right
not in
now,
a travel trailer.
you'll surely want
But
to see
I could
this.
see staying in a Cat 1.
You know, I made 3 simple changes to my diet that drastically
Anything
reduced
above
my
that,
arthritis pain.
especially in that
Number
area
1, I started drinking
where
more
they're
water.
so low to sea
I had
level
no idea
already.
how dehydrated my
No.
body really was. Number 2, I made a decision to take matters into my own hands. That's not to say I don't value
So
my
they're
doctors.
saying Lake Charles is
I
definitely
just
going to get
decided not to settle for
127
a
to
cabinet full
130
of
mile
pills,
hour
and
winds.
this is as good as it's going to
And these
get.
people are staying in these
Number
travel
3, I
trailers.
raided my own refrigerator.
Oh my
Though
goodness.
I thought he ate pretty
I
healthy
can't get
overall,
over that.
I did not know just
I
how.
would have arrested them all.
So usually when we have a landfalling tropical system, a tropical storm, or a hurricane, we talk a lot about the storm surge, the amount of flooding there's going to be, the amount of wind damage there's going to be, but there's another really serious threat, and I'm talking about tornadoes, especially on the east side of the storm, wherever it makes landfall. Usually these tornadoes and tropical systems are a little bit less powerful and a little bit more short-lived than a typical supercell, but that's definitely going to be a threat here. And you can see just about the entire state of Louisiana, also parts of Mississippi has a tornado threat through the evening, and then as we get into tomorrow, we'll start to see that threat move a little bit farther toward the north as the whole system moves a little bit farther toward the north. So that'll include Arkansas as well. Keep in mind, it's the east side of the storm where the highest threat for tornadoes are. So parts of the upper Texas coast, while you could see a tornado or two, I'm not quite as concerned about there as I am about places like Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, as the storm ends up moving farther up toward the north.
Like that.
Please be prepared for this. And by the way, when you have flooding going on and a tornado warning at the same time, basically what you want to do is move to the lowest dry floor of your house, okay?
No,
you're looking for an
better than
interior room with no windows. Basically try to put as many walls between you and the outside as
They
possible.
chase on the
And
side
don't forget
of a
to have a
storm where it's
communication
not
device
gonna,
with you, all right?
where they're not going to be in the direct path so they can film it. These people can't film it. It's going to wipe out all their cameras and wipe them out.
Would you believe a few simple changes in your diet can drastically reduce your joint pain and arthritis? If you're suffering from joint pain right now,
Hurricane Laura is launching its assault on the Gulf Coast as the storm moves inland. This is an extremely dangerous major hurricane. It will feature unsurvivable storm surge, a tremendous amount of damaging wind that'll make it pretty far inland, widespread power outages, as well as flooding rain and even some tornadoes. And people along the Texas and Louisiana coasts are already feeling some of the wrath of the storm. Rain bands have been lashing cities and flooding streets throughout the day. Just look at this. This was a scene in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Really heavy rain and limited visibility.
Those trailers are staying there won't even be recognizable. They won't. They'll be finding
major flooding is expected across
little
the
teeny
city. Again,
pieces,
we're talking about Lake Charles
hundreds
here.
of miles
the Calcasieu River
from
which
other
runs
pieces
right
of
through
it.
there, it's expected to rise more than 15 feet by the morning. And just for reference, at 13 feet, more than half of the city is flooded. Now, east of there, in Thibodaux, about an hour from New Orleans, pretty much more of the same. In Galveston, waves are crashing, but it belies the danger ahead. Laura is expected to make landfall along the Texas-Louisiana border very late tonight into early Thursday.
Would you believe a few simple changes in your diet
You'd
can
think they'd
drastically
have a
reduce your
different
joint pain
commercial
and
each time,
arthritis?
but no, it's the
If you're
same
suffering
one.
from joint pain right now, you'll surely want to see this. I made 3 simple changes to my diet that
Inflatable barricades set in place along Lake Charles, Louisiana, to slow the hurricane surge. Yeah, it ain't gonna do much. Look at those expensive homes. Oh man, another ad, really?
Would you believe a few simple changes in your diet can
They are
drastically
killing
reduce
us
your
with these
joint pain and
ads. Good
arthritis?
gracious.
If you're suffering from joint pain right now, you'll
Shouldn't
surely
the
want to
people
see
that live
this.
there already know what
I
happens?
made 3 simple
Yeah,
changes to my
the
diet
people that
that
live there, but
drastically reduced my
these
arthritis
people in
pain.
the travel trailers are
Number 1, I
construction
started
workers that
drinking more
aren't from
water.
there.
I had
But
no
yeah,
idea how
the
dehydrated my body
people.
really was. Number 2, I made a decision to take matters into my
I
own
don't think
hands.
Lake Charles got hit
That's
as
not to say I don't
bad
value my doctors.
during Hurricane
I
Katrina
just decided not to
as
settle for a cabinet full of pills.
Biloxi,
And this is as good
Mississippi,
as it's
and
going to get. Number 3, I raided my own refrigerator.
There are
I
3
thought I
new
ate pretty
warnings
healthy
affecting
overall.
Louisiana and
I did
Nebraska.
not know just how
3
many
new
of the foods
warnings.
I've
Let's
been
see what
eating,
those are.
basically for my whole life, were keeping me in pain. Out of the
They
5 foods
are
listed by the NIH as the worst foods for arthritis,
tornado
I was eating 4 of them every single day.
near
Within days of
Egan or
eliminating
near
those foods from
Crawley,
my
moving
diet,
northwest
my
at
joints became less
55
stiff,
miles per
my
hour.
flexibility and range of
So that's
motion
for
came back.
Arcadia,
If you want to see what I eliminated from
Evangeline,
my diet,
Jefferson Davis,
click the button in this
and
video
Vermillion.
to see the 5 worst foods for
And then a
arthritis
severe
presentation
storm.
that gave me my life back.
Nebraska. Another tornado warning for Lafayette and Vermillion. Located over Henry or 7 miles northeast of Intercoastal City, moving northwest at 50 miles per hour. Hurricane Laura causes Mississippi River to flow backwards. It's caused the river to go in reverse. That's a powerful hurricane. I know, right? He must spend a lot of money to run that ad over and over. It's crazy.
Can drastically reduce your joint pain and arthritis.
It's the only ad up
If you're
there.
suffering from joint pain right now, you'll surely want to see this. I made 3 simple changes to my
Whenever we have a hurricane jump rapidly in status, that gets people's attention, and for very good reason. And that's what's happened with Laura. It was a Category 1, and then within 24 hours, a Category 3 by Wednesday morning, then reaching Category 4 status on Wednesday afternoon. So we cannot say this enough. Every update from here on out is crucial. Now, the hurricane growth spurt that we've been talking about, it wasn't completely unexpected. So we knew Laura was going to enter into warmer water and also with low wind shear. So all of those ingredients were there for the system to get stronger. Now, we also have to mention that it's not just the winds that have jumped. Okay, other numbers have jumped too, and storm surge, some of those numbers have gone up. Unsurvivable storm surge. Those are the exact words used by the NWS to describe storm surge up to 20 feet possible in some areas.
Wow. Let me try something here. Hurricane
Laura is set to break
records as it moves into the U.S. coast. It'll be the 7th named storm to make landfall before August 31st. 6 is the old record from way back in 1886 and 1916. This will be the 7th landfalling hurricane as it makes landfall sometimes late Wednesday or early on Thursday. So a very busy 2020 so far. The record, the old record, well, that was 6, set back in 1916 before they even named a storm. So we just called them Storm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's another record, 1886. But 2020 turning out to be a record year, not just in tropical cyclones either.
There is one new special marine warning.
Let's see what that is.
Would you believe a few simple changes in your diet
Near
can
Niagara
drastically
River.
reduce your joint pain and arthritis? If you're suffering from joint pain right now, you'll surely want to see this.
Country, a lot of marsh, a lot
You know,
of
I made 3 simple changes to my
these
diet that
values
drastically
and we've got
reduced
this
my arthritis
depicted as
pain.
if though it's along the
Number
coast,
1,
but
I
it is
started
going to be
drinking more water.
well inland,
I had
penetrating
no idea
30,
how
40,
dehydrated my
in
body
some
really
cases
was.
50 miles
Number 2,
inland and
I
right
made
into
a
Lake
decision to
Charles,
take matters into
Louisiana.
my
We
own
want to show
hands.
you what that looks
That's
like.
not to say I don't
on
value
the
that's
my
ground.
messed
This
up.
is the forecast from the National Hurricane Center, and this is what we
Still
call a
got the sound
reasonable
from the
worst
ad
case
going.
scenario. So you see the color coding there, where you get into those orange values, that is storm surge of 6 to 9 feet. Where you get into the red, that is 9 to 12 feet. So that is
Wow.
not survivable. That is literally an incredibly life-threatening situation because it's not just water, it's also going to be wind at the same time as this is happening. There you see we go more towards downtown, and there's the Civic Center right there. And look at that, the entire parking lot in storm surge of above 9 feet. And then here you see more of downtown, including City Hall right there. We're looking at surge of 3 to 6 feet, maybe above 6
I wish
feet
they'd
there
show us
just in
where those
front
travel
of City
trails
Hall.
are
We
that
can
those
continue
construction workers are
on through Lake
staying
Charles.
in.
Look at all these residential areas. I mean, huge swaths of residential area where you got surge of 6 to 9 feet. So this flood in Lake Charles could be worse than Rita, and it could be worse than the flood of record, which goes back to 1913.
Oh, come on, sound.
One of the worst surge flooding events that we have ever seen in Lake Charles. So please, please listen to local officials. There you see more of the homes here, some very nice homes on the water. Again, looking at potential surge above 9 feet. And then we expand out a little ways and we show you some of the hotels here. And you see they are just surrounded by surge of 6 to 9 feet with some areas above 9 feet. So we are talking about an incredibly dangerous situation.
This is crazy.
Would you believe a few simple changes in your
There
diet
goes that
can
silly
drastically
commercial
reduce your
again.
joint pain and arthritis? If you're suffering from joint pain right now, you'll surely want to see this. You know, I made 3 simple changes to my diet that drastically reduced my arthritis pain.
Oh,
Number 1, I started drinking
check
more
this
water.
out.
I had no idea how dehydrated my body really was.
NASA recently.
Well, obviously, Hurricane Laura is going to be absolutely devastating for a lot of people. Sometimes you just got to take a little bit of a step back and appreciate the beauty of nature, especially from space. It's unbelievable.
Okay. NASA recently spotted space rocks inbound. A trio of asteroids measuring more than 82 feet in diameter are visiting the Earth's backyard as NASA announces an incoming space rock that may strike Earth on November 2nd. So there's 3 other ones inbound. So I'll cover that later. I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
What this GOES 16 satellite can see. Not only do we get this high resolution data with a lot of just beautiful satellite images, we can also detect where the lightning is going on inside the storm. And if you look at this image, which was from late Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning before the storm had really strengthened, you see a lot of the lightning is firing up along those outer bands where there were a lot of thunderstorms. Now, one thing that happens when the storm strengthens is that you'll tend to see a lot of action, a lot of convection, a lot of thunderstorms forming right around the center, and they get really tall and really strong. And if you look at this more recent image that was taken just a couple of hours ago, you notice all those lightning strikes are being picked up closer to the center of the storm. So that's an indication at how much it had strengthened, and at that point, it was clearly a major hurricane.
I wish they'd show these idiots that refuse to leave. Man, this commercial is ridiculous.
If you're suffering from joint pain right now, you'll surely see this. I made 3 simple changes to my diet that...
Yeah. I have joint pain. Use turmeric and fish oil.
1,040-pound bags of sand by the time it's all said and done.
Loading the ad again already? Get like 2 seconds of weather feed and then...
Would you believe a few simple changes in your diet can drastically reduce your joint pain and arthritis? If you're suffering from joint pain right now, you'll surely want to see this. I made 3 simple changes to my diet that drastically reduced my arthritis pain. Number 1, I started drinking more water. I had no idea how dehydrated my body really was. Number 2, I made a decision to take matters into my own hands. That's not to say I don't value my doctors. I just decided not to settle for a cabinet full of pills, and this is as good as it's going to get. Number 3, I rated my own refrigerator.
We're talking strongest.
I thought he ate pretty healthy overall. I did not know just how many of the foods I've been eating, basically for my whole life, were keeping me in pain.
The way to get there, these roads lead to water. At least this exit does. You'll notice here's I-10, but notice you get over to 287 southbound, you'll find the city of Port Arthur. Port Arthur rests only 7 feet above sea level. 7 feet, ladies and gentlemen. Think about this for a moment. It is just, it really is the stuff of nightmares.
I think that's where those guys were in Port Arthur, the ones in the campers.
Would you believe that a few simple changes in your diet can drastically reduce your joint pain and arthritis?
Dangerous Hurricane Laura is heading for the upper Texas coast. We have a tropical storm warning in effect for the Houston metro area. Hurricane warning down in Galveston and also points east. So this is what we're looking at here. Tropical storm force winds moving onto the coast a little bit later on today. About 2 p.m. or so for the Mississippi Delta, and then out towards the Sabine River and Sabine Lake by this evening. So it's an overnight thing where Houston will pick up some rain and also some wind. Looking at gusts, maybe 20, 25 up to 30 miles an hour through the overnight hours and on into early Thursday. Also looking for some rainfall in the region, anywhere from 1/4 to 1/2 inch with the gusts. So it's not going to make it a very pleasant next 24 hours for Houston, but at least we're not expecting extensive flooding. That's going to be farther off to the east. So here are your totals again: 1/4 to 1/2 inch. We will be watching out for flash flooding.
People are going to be affected by this hurricane. Not all severely like they are down there, you know. But, I mean, even Virginia, Ohio, parts of Tennessee, a little bit of North Carolina, Arkansas.
Would you believe a few simple changes in your diet can drastically reduce your joint pain and arthritis?
This is very annoying.
If you're suffering from joint pain right now, you'll surely want to see this. I made 3 simple changes to my diet that drastically reduced my arthritis pain. Number 1, I started drinking more water. I had no idea how dehydrated my body really was. Number 2, I made a decision to take matters into my own hands. That's not to say I don't value my doctors. I just decided not to settle for a cabinet full of pills, and this is as good as it's going to get. Number 3, I raided my own refrigerator.
A man protects his home with bales of hay.
I did not
Yeah,
notice how
right.
many of the foods I've
Does
been
he
eating,
really think
basically for my whole life, are keeping me in pain?
officials
Out of the
worry
5
as
foods
some
listed
people
by the
did not
NIH as
evacuate?
the
Let's watch
worst foods
that.
for arthritis, I was eating 4 of them every single.
Because I'm tired of that commercial. Yeah, he's growing on me too. So this is where it was already. Um, um, unsurvivable storm surge in Cameron Parish. Um, uh, and Thurman Bill Barty, mayor of Texas Port Arthur, said, if you decide to stay, you're on your own. I will not put my people in harm's way. If you stay, it's you and God. Laura killed 23 people in the Caribbean as a tropical storm, and it's a Cat 4 now. And some of these people are refusing to leave. She estimated 60% of the people in Beaumont, the county's largest city with a population of 118,000, aren't going anywhere despite a mandatory evacuation order that was issued Monday night. Because of COVID-19, shelter capacity is greatly reduced to allow for social distancing, and evacuees were being told to seek their own hotel rooms as they drove further inland. They filled up the allotment of hotels. So they were giving people vouchers to stay in hotels that they couldn't take at the shelters. Ah. Um, uh, I was trying to see if they talked about these guys that refused to leave. They're not going to talk about them. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't give them a whole lot of the media coverage either. I guess that's one of the shelters. Another warning. Another tornado.
There is one new tornado warning for Louisiana.
Liberia, Iberia, Lafayette, St. Mary, and Vermilion. St. Mary Parish got hit hard during Katrina. This is gonna continue, and this storm is moving 60 miles per hour, which means if they've got wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour already, plus this storm is moving 60 miles per hour. That's 120-mile-hour wind gusts with that. So, not good. All right. You have a blessed night, and
Hurricane Laura is launching its assault on
we
the
will
Gulf
pray
Coast
for
as the
these
storm moves in.
people, and I'm going to close out too because it's 1 a.m.
This is an extremely dangerous major hurricane. It will
Thank you
feature
for being here, Suzanne. God bless
unsurvivable
you, and
storm
so do
surge,
I.
a tremendous amount of damaging wind that'll make it immune to widespread power outages, as
Yeah,
well
I
as
need to
flooding
go to
rain and
sleep.
even some tornadoes.
All
Now,
this
people along the
yawning.
Texas and Louisiana coasts are already feeling some of the wrath of the storm. Rain bands have been lashing cities and flooding streets throughout the day. Just look at this. This was a scene in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Really heavy rain and limited visibility. Again, that was just one of the outer bands. Not even as bad as the middle of the storm is going to be. This is just the beginning. Major flooding is expected across the city. Again, we're talking about Lake Charles here.
Thanks.
The Calcasieu River, which runs
I
right
will.
through there, it's expected to rise more than 15 feet by the morning. And just for reference, at 13 feet, more than half of the city is flooded. Now, east of there, in Thibodaux, about an hour from New Orleans, pretty much more of the same. In Galveston, waves are crashing, but it belies the danger ahead. Laura is expected to make landfall along the Texas-Louisiana border very late tonight into early Thursday.
Would you believe a few simple changes in your diet can drastically reduce your joint pain and arthritis? If you're suffering from joint pain right now, you'll surely want to see this. You know, I made 3 simple changes to my diet that drastically reduced my arthritis pain. Number 1, I started drinking more water. I had no idea how dehydrated my body really was.
Laura is going to move far beyond the shores of Louisiana and Texas, and you see here where it begins turning northeast more so on Friday, and then beelines almost directly east, and it's going to gain a lot of ground over several states before it moves off the mid-Atlantic coast later in the weekend. So this is going to feel like a very long weekend to millions of people. So even though this isn't a storm that's expected to stall out, river flooding remains a huge concern. And as we all know, with river flooding, it takes time to recede. Now, we also have to talk about a multitude of other things. We want to show you where the biggest power outage potential lies. Now, there's going to be a lot of people in need with power outages, and we also have the tornado threat. So the reality is you could be on your own for a long time, and communication is going to be really messed up. So we also have to talk about the rainfall, and this shows you where the biggest threat zones are. And let's look at some more specific numbers, but keep in mind these numbers will likely go up as we adjust along the way.
All right. Not again. Okay. See if I can do this while it's live. Maybe not. I need to change the name of it because we didn't cover the things that are going to be forthcoming or coming to fruition. We're only doing coverage of this storm, really. And I briefly touched on
Whenever we have a hurricane jump rapidly in status, that gets people's attention, and for very good reason. And that's what's happened with Laura. It was a Category 1, and then within 24 hours, a Category 3 by Wednesday morning, then reaching Category 4 status on Wednesday afternoon. So we cannot say this enough. Every update from here on out is crucial. Now, the hurricane growth spurt that we've been talking about, it wasn't completely unexpected. So we knew Laura was going to enter into warmer water and also with low wind shear. So all of those ingredients were there for the system to get stronger. Now, we also have to mention that it's not just the winds that have jumped. Okay, other numbers have jumped too, and storm surge, some of those numbers have gone up. Unsurvivable storm surge. Those are the exact words used by the NWS to describe storm surge up to 20 feet possible in some areas.
there's got to be better coverage than this. Wow. Look at these pictures. Not gonna let me enlarge. Yeah, I mean they've already got flooding, and this was this afternoon, and it hadn't even begun to hit yet. So
Really incredible to think about that, how far we are away from the water, and still we're talking about a hurricane here as early as tomorrow morning. You can see the sandbagging effort going on right now. And to give you some perspective, this is all free. People can come in, they can line up, and they can get 20 40-pound bags of sand. Now, after they get their 20, they can, of course, go to the end of the line and get 20 more. But I will tell you, people were waiting for 3 hours in line yesterday afternoon. The expectation is they're going to be doing that again today. And you can see a very small portion of the line I'm talking about right here. Okay, it wraps around and it's extending out almost 3.
they do that here during hurricanes. They actually in Virginia Beach, when I used to work at the Sportsplex, that's actually the parking lot that they use to distribute
So
the free
it's a tough go
sandbags.
for so
The
many
city
people, but
does.
they know
Because the
that these
sportsplex is
sandbags can
actually
mean the
city
difference between
property.
life and death. They know,
Even though it was privately ran.
that these sandbags can mean the difference between saving things in their home and not. And you can see one of the
Yeah,
cars
not
pulling
for
in
the
right
people
now. Go
up
ahead up there.
close, it won't be. Not for the ones in the immediate area of
Behind
the
the
storm
lens,
surge.
bringing you these images, and you can see
Sandbags ain't gonna help them. This is getting old. It's all this buffering. There's got to be better coverage.
opening up the truck bed, filling it up with as many as they can, of course, right?
All right, let's look at Afghanistan's flooding. And then I guess I'll close out. Oh, it's taking too long to load. There we go. Flooding kills 100 people, at least 100 people. Scores injured in landslides in Afghanistan. A hospital was partially destroyed. On a highway just east of Kabul, at least 8 people, including 2 children, drowned and 14 others were injured when floodwater swept the cars they were in away. Nobody could run. 22, one of the victims. Huh? He said it all started around midnight when people were asleep. Everything I had is under the mud. Hundreds of acres of agricultural land had been destroyed with heavy rain wiping out all the crops. I'm sure it meant to say crops in the eastern Nuristan province. Houses and roads destroyed. Houston will be spared. Laura's worst. All right. Close that out. Hello. We were watching all the coverage from Hurricane Laura. And let's check the warnings right quick. Still same tornado warning.
There is one new tornado warning for Louisiana.
This one's located over Iota, moving northwest at 30 miles per hour. This one's moving slow compared to the others. This is Arcata, Allen, Beauregard, Evangeline, Jefferson, Davis, Lafayette, St. Landry and Vermilion counties in Louisiana. And the other one's still in Iberia, Lafayette, St. Mary, and Vermilion. So there's two different ones for Vermilion. I think the others may have expired. Yeah, the others expired. But this is going to go on. But that's going to continue. The extreme winds are definitely going to continue over an hour. This morning expires in an hour, but no doubt they'll be putting another one out for all those counties. So, waiting for this to load. Unsurvivable storm surge. And we have construction workers there working on some kind of gas lines that are not from the area, that are staying in travel trailers that have refused to evacuate. And that's just ludicrous. If you think a travel trailer or any kind of trailer is going to hold up in a storm surge like that and 5 to 7 inches of rainfall per hour, which means in 4 hours you have 28 inches of rain besides the storm surge, and then you're going to have 135, 140 mile an hour winds, and they think those trailers are going to survive. That's ludicrous. That is just that's suicide. That is definitely suicide, because common sense has got to tell you that trailer is not going to hold up. I know they're not from there, but maybe they've never been in any kind of real storm before. Here, people know to get out of trailers. Nobody's staying in a trailer in a hurricane force. No. I thought they said live coverage. Well, it's nice and warm in Midland, Texas. It's not what we were looking for. All right, I think I'm going to close it down. Let's see what Weather Nation has on it. We'll see what coverage they have. Well, it should be on air now. I can't believe nobody's got live coverage. This is crazy. Let's see, maybe. Maybe. We'll see if this works. We'll see. Please wait. We're real popular right now. I bet they are. I already have that extension. Alright, that's not going to work because I already have Chrome extension. So I'm not re-downloading anything. Let's see what's on here. Alright, I'm going to give up. All I can do is pray for these people. As the eye is almost over them. Very close. Another hour or so. And the worst thing this thing could do is slow down even more. Wind reports already. Well, that's in the northern plains. Marcos tropical cyclone final advisory issued. And there it is. That's going to bring us rain too, darn. We get a lot of rain. You know, the worst thing is now that Marcos stalls, somewhere over Virginia, and then Hurricane Laura, which will be downgraded by then, probably to a tropical storm, but those two merge and then just crawl. You talk about severe flooding. That would be a horrible scenario. But still, nothing as bad as these people. Look at the wildfires. These people that did not evacuate are definitely in trouble. All we do is pray for them. Florida waterspout hits the beach and becomes a tornado. That's unusual. Wow. I mean, we see a lot of waterspouts here too. They don't come on land. It moved on shore and transitioned into a tornado, causing damage to the immediate shoreline. Wow. Let's see if we can watch that video without some delay. Yep, it's moving. All right. Okay, that's that. I'm tired. God bless you all.
There is one new tornado warning for Louisiana.
This is going to go on all night, too. I hope people have those emergency radios because a lot of them are going to not have power. This was located over Ridge or near Rain, moving northwest at 60 miles per hour. So that's for Iberia, Lafayette, St. Martin, St. Mary, and Vermilion. Man. All right. Y'all are in God's hands now because the blue is your strong winds advisory, dangerous winds advisory, and your red boxes are tornadoes. And Arkansas and Tennessee are a little rough weather right now. We have nothing over here where I'm at, but this hurricane is supposed to track and cover all of this, go up into Maryland and parts of Ohio. All right, so I'm going to close out, I guess, and we definitely need to pray for these people in the path of this Cat 4 and unsurvivable surge of water. So you definitely need to pray for those people. I still can't believe those people staying in those travel trailers. Unbelievable. Well, we need to pray for the whole world that everyone comes to know Christ as their Savior and is blessed with the Holy Spirit. Remember, you need to baptize yourself if you can't get anybody to baptize you. You can find out how to do it in the Bible. You just have to be baptized in water, submerged in water, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. And then you will have the Holy Ghost in you, guiding you, giving you discerning abilities, and giving you peace beyond understanding. And for those of you that don't have it, but you've been, walking the Christian life and, trying to serve God, and you don't feel like God's answered you, or you haven't heard from Him, or any of that, you need to make sure you're baptized, because that's when you get blessed with the Holy Spirit. So that's my suggestion on that. Okay. God loves you, and so do I.